Warning: Geeking Toyetic is a show aimed at the adult collector, and as such features adult language and humor that is not appropriate for younger audiences. Viewer discretion advised.
Welcome, everybody, to the Geeking Poetic Podcast channel. I'm your host, Larry Roberts, and for today's special edition episode of Geeking Toyetic, I'm going to do an unboxing of a very highly anticipated toy. It is none other than the G.I. Joe Skystriker from HASBRO, from HASLAB more specifically. This was one of those rather infamous HASLAB projects where they advertise it way in advance, way before they've even started manufacturing, and they get people to basically crowd fund it. It's a little bit of a controversial topic with a lot of collectors, but I've never done a HASLAB project before, but I saw this and it just looked too good to pass up. And I know that I'm not the only one to have gotten this. These are starting to trickle out to all the customers out there. I've already seen a bunch of you commenting about these that you've received on social media, and the response has been pretty mixed so far. I've seen some people saying that they're absolutely pleased with it, and then I've seen some other people saying that there's some aspects to this that they're a little less than happy with. Whether it's been due to the way some of the items are packaged in here and things getting bounced around and turning up in not so mint condition, or whether it's just been people critiquing some of the choices they made artistically with, like, the packaging design and some of the figure design and all that kind of stuff. I've read it all, but I'm going to reserve my judgment for myself once I have these things in my hands and in front of my own two eyes. And I thought it would be fun to do the unboxing here with all of you today so that you can get an honest first impression on all these items as I'm getting them out. Yeah, without any further ado, let's open this thing up and see what we've got. And let's see what we have here. All right, first of all, when you first open it up, you see there's another box. This is like one of Megan's Christmas presents. It's just going to be a box inside of a box inside of a box. So let's see what we got here. So there's this piece of cardboard they put on top. Oh, this is cool. And they do this thing where you have handles here. See, we've got these handles so that I can lift the Skystriker out. So I'm going to do that. Once I show you this, check that out. All right, so first things first, we get the Skystriker jet. Very similar in many ways to the vintage Skystriker jet from 1983. Obviously with some differences there. But yeah, pretty cool, man. I'm excited about this. I actually never had the original Skystriker jet. My buddy David, my best buddy that lived down the block from me, he had this jet, and man, we played with this thing so much fun. And as you can see, when you look on the front of the box, you'll see that it illustrates that it has the parachutes and the removable seats. But on this, it doesn't just come with Ace, but it also comes with Failsafe. So this has got two figures, whereas memory serves correctly, the original just came with Ace. So on first inspection, looking at this, overall the box is in pretty good shape. I'm noticing over here on this side, it's going to be maybe a little hard for you to really see on camera, but it does have a little bit of whatever you want to call it, a little bit of a crease kind of thing happening here along the side. I mean, that's not a deal breaker for me. That's really not a big deal. That could have commonly been found on any vintage Skystriker you would have got back in the day on a shelf. Otherwise, it seems to be in very nice shape. And then you have the illustration on the back showing you a little more detailed view of the jet and its accessories that come in the box. But this is not the only thing to come as part of the Skystriker HASLAB project. Oh no, there's a bunch of other really cool add-ons. For those that don't know, the way this works is when they put this up for sale, they do tiers, different TIERS tiers. They do different tiers of the promotion where if they raise X amount of money, they will add in this additional piece, and then if it meets the next level and the next level, well, this one did very well, so they ended up adding in a whole bunch of really cool extras. And let me get the box, and I'm going to show you that stuff now. So first of all, one thing that they did a little differently that was part of the whole promotion this time is that I mean, the Skystriker is supposed to be a G.I. Joe jet. Like, it's a Joe vehicle. As you know, if you were into vintage G.I. Joe stuff, things were either Joe vehicles or they were Cobra vehicles, or there were other offshoot factions sometimes, but generally it was Joe or Cobra. What they did this time that's a little different is they gave us options of what kind of stickers we wanted to put on our Skystrikers. So we've got, 3 different styles that we can do here. We've got, as you can see, we've got this one here with all the cool American Joe stuff with the Tomcat stickers, all that kind of stuff. And then we've got this one. We've got this design. If you want to make this an enemy vehicle, you want to make it that, the Cobras came and stole the Skystriker and did it over in their own symbols and style, you can put Cobra stickers on there. Now, I don't plan on putting any of these stickers on here because, I don't know, at least not now. Maybe down the line I might end up putting these stickers on, but, it's one of those kind of things I've seen guys saying that, oh man, I wish I would have ordered 3 of these things so that I could have, decorated them in all 3 different styles. And I'm like, hey man, if you can afford 3 of these things, more power to you. But I was able to only afford 1. I was lucky to get that. So anyway, we've got these 3 different sticker sets. We've got instructions here to show you how to do it. You've got Combat Jet Skystriker. So yeah, I always loved like the blueprints. This is very, typical of how the old vehicles and toys used to come back in the day. And it shows you where to put all the stickers and all that stuff, so that's helpful. And then there is the Combat Jet Skystriker XP14F instruction sheet. So it shows you how to put things together, how to attach the wings, how to put the ejectable seats in there and the missiles and all that stuff. It's pretty cool. So all of that looks really cool. I like the design of all that. Everything that I got looks like it's in very good shape, and I'm happy with that. So far, so good. And just so you can get an idea and see what it looks like after you pull the Skystriker itself out of the box, when you look into the box, you'll see you get a whole bunch of stuff here packed in the bottom. There's carded figures. There's other parts that are included in white boxes or wrapped in white paper. There's a lot to go through in here. But yeah, so when you get yours, it should look something like this. Again, once you pull the jet itself out of the box. Okay, so I can see by looking through, it's hard for you to tell probably in the light, but what this has got in here are all the different pieces of the missiles and things that attach to the jet. I'm not going to pull those out right now. Well, actually, yeah, I can. I'll pull some of these out for you guys. So yeah, that's cool. That's all the different missiles there. I'm going to put these aside so I don't lose these, because as you might remember from back in the old days, it was easy as pie to lose those parts, so I don't want to lose them yet. Here is another package. All right, same idea. This is going to have more missiles in there. We've got, well, they've got these. Some of these parts, I'm sure, are fairly fragile, so they've actually got them, like, extra wrapped. So that's good. So far, I'm really liking the way they packaged this, and everything is so far so good as far as that goes. Here's like the parts for the seats. Yeah, you've got the idea anyway. So, again, all the pieces in there. All right, and then here they've got this cardboard piece that has a bunch of other little pieces here. This is for all the add-on accessories that come with this. Like, oh man, like this is so cool. Like it's a little fuel truck kind of guy. So it's got a little gas pump thing and then a crank wheel so you can pull out. I'm not going to do it right now because he's pretty well wedged in there. But so you can pull like a gas line for the deck crew to be able to gas up the vehicle. And I don't know what's in this part. This looks like this might be more parts of the jet itself. So the canopy is in here. But you get the idea. These are more of the little minute pieces of the jet that can be found here. Here's another small ground vehicle to put like the missiles and various things on that can be towed. They really went all out with adding all the extra pieces. This is like super cool. Oh man, look at that. Gosh, that's just great. This comes with so much, man. Again, I gotta say, this thing was not cheap. It wasn't anywhere near as expensive as a lot of the other HASLAB projects, which was a good thing. But that being said, for the amount of money that was spent for this, you really get a lot of good stuff here. And I mean, I still haven't even gotten to the action figures yet. So in here, yeah, we've got more pieces. Look at the box. So inside, this thing is all about boxes, inside boxes, like I said. So inside there is yet another box. So as you see, there's 2 more boxes inside. That looks really cool. That's showing like the runway. But what's inside, so the other pieces I just showed you were inside this part of the box. But this part of the box has the figures. There's a whole bunch of figures. And what's really cool about this, when they do it this way, is when compared to how you used to get your figures in the old vintage G.I. Joe toys, they were usually just packaged inside a plastic bubble pressed against, usually it was like a red backing card, just a little square card, and that was it. You would get a file card too that was usually printed on the box itself. This time, especially because there's so many figures and because so many people are into wanting carded figures, you get carded figures inside this, and man, this is so cool. There's a bunch to go through here. So, first off, I have the Halo Jumper Ripcord. I think he looks really cool, man. Very pleased with this, and as you can see, they've got 7 characters listed on the back. If you remember, the old Joes, they always listed all the characters that were coming out in that wave, and then subsequent waves, and it got to be more and more and more characters. So there are 7 figures in here. That's quite a deal to get 7 figures with this. Like I said, you're going to pay anywhere between $12 and $20 for this. So I'm getting 7 of these in here, along with the jet and all the other stuff. I personally think that's a really good bargain for what this cost. Looking at the quality of the card itself, because that was one of the things that a lot of people were criticizing online from the people that have received this before I did. So they were saying they did not like the look and the quality of the cards. It's a little different. Like, I mean, it looks retro, but it looks modern too. So far, I'm okay with it. The card's actually a little bit more sturdy than I thought it would be. For any of you that bought any of like the G.I. Joe, like the retro collection ones that you could get at like Walmart and stuff like that, a lot of you know that those cards were really flimsy and often were right out of the box when you'd see them at Walmart, they were bent and everything, and I was worried about that with these. And at least from this first figure that I'm bringing out, that is not the case. Ripcord's looking pretty good, so I'm happy with that so far. Oh, and also I want to say, for people that were complaining about the way these things were packaged, I don't really know what people were expecting here, but the way they have this packaged in mine, I think is great. First of all, they have these like triangular spacer divider things in here that are keeping the figures in place and away from each other. They had this cardboard piece that was in the middle so that the cards weren't sliding all over or banging into each other. And each figure does have, it's a little flimsy, but it does have a piece of tissue paper to protect the bubbles from rubbing against each other, because we know that can easily get scuffed up. So, like I said, so far this is looking really good. Oh, I really like this. So here's Fighter Pilot Ace. Good old Ace, the Skystriker pilot. And I think it looks really cool. Now, he never had his own card back in the day. There was no card backer for Ace back in the day. So this is a new design and everything. But I think it looks really cool, man. I'm happy with that. And in terms of the quality of the card, fairly flat. You know, it's got a little bit of bend to it, but that's okay. Again, compared to what I was talking about with like those Walmart G.I. Joes that were coming out over the last couple of years, those things were just really hit or miss. All right, so moving on. Figure number 3. It is Counterintelligence, none other than Scarlet. And it's Scarlet in this really cool flight suit thing. Yeah, this is a little different. I think it looks good, though. Again, this was another thing I saw people were criticizing, but man, I'm happy with this. I really like this. So far, like I said, I'm really liking all these figures. And I should say, by the way, if you can't tell by looking at them, if you're not able to discern it from the video and stuff that I'm showing you, these are the old school O-ring style figures. These are not like the modern style ones like that they were coming out with, the 4-inch modern ones. These are the retro O-ring style based, you know, these could blend in with your vintage 80s and early 90s Joes. So Scarlet looks great, colors look great, 3 out of 7 down. I'm happy. Let's see where we go next. Figure number 4. It is the Radar Intercept Officer, otherwise known as Failsafe. So here's Failsafe. This figure looks really cool, man. I saw some people were kind of being critical of him, saying they were a little less impressed with him. They didn't think he was that cool of a figure. What I like about him is the fact that he's got the predominantly green gear on, the green uniform and everything. He's kind of a little bit more simplistic. And he reminds me more of the original 9 Joes. And those are still my favorite Joes, you know, because I was there when these things first came out in 82, and I loved the originals. Breaker and Short Fuse and Zap and Grunt and Rock and Roll and so on and so forth. He looks like he fits in a little bit more closely with that than some of like the later 80s Joes that I know a lot of you grew up with, and you like your figures to have a little bit more, flash and pizzazz to them. But I like it. I think it's really cool. And again, card looks good to me. All right, moving on. I think that's all of the Joes that are in here. Yeah, now we're moving on to the Cobra figures. So here we have one of the Cobra ground crew, codename Ramp Rat. It's an interesting name, Ramp Rat. So this guy, yeah, a little bit different. It's kind of funny seeing a blue, Cobra enemy guy with this bright red vest on, but it makes sense. He's supposed to be the guy that's directing the planes and everything. He's got to be visible. He can't just be wearing dark blue. And yeah, for a ground crew guy, I think he looks great. Card art is basic, but again, he's a guy that has 2 glow sticks in his hand that directs jets. What do you want him to be doing, Figure number 6 out of 7. If I can get him out here. All right, yep, we just have a new version of the Cobra Trooper. Yeah, it looks like on this one, it looks like the bubble is lifting ever so slightly down here on the left corner. That I don't like, because that can become problematic over time. Not only can it cause condensation and stuff to get in there and everything, but it can also just gradually start to lift. So that's really the first negative I've seen. I also think it's kind of weird that he's punched. It's a punched card. All the other cards are unpunched, which, you know, I'd say the majority of mint on card collectors prefer them to be unpunched and everything, but this guy is missing his hole punch. I'm going to have to look in the box and see if it's in there, but on first look, I don't see it. And like I said, and I don't know how much you can really tell, if you'll be able to tell on camera, but it is lifting a little bit right there. That's a bummer. But otherwise, the figure looks really good. I'm overall happy with this, but I do wish they would have maybe been a little more careful with the packaging, but you know, they're still producing, I'm sure, thousands of these things. It's stuff like that's going to happen. But yeah, I mean, that is a bummer. That is a negative, but all things considered, that's the first negative I've found out of the whole bunch. So still a pretty good, you know, it's a winning record there. Last but not least, we have the head of Cobra himself. We have Cobra Commander. So that's awesome. Loved Cobra Commander. I can remember back in the day sending away for my Cobra Commander figure, cutting out the proofs of purchases and sending in $1 or whatever it was to Hasbro, and getting my Cobra Commander figure in the mail. He's a little unseated in his packaging, but otherwise, in terms of the quality of the way the bubble is attached to the card, that's good. As you can see, he does have his hole punch. So yeah, that's kind of weird. It's a bummer that I out of 7 figures, that one of them is the oddball. And he would say that's not that big of a deal, except that there is no other way to get this figure than to buy this whole set, which you can't even get anymore because it was a one and done thing. You ordered this, they took the orders, that's it. They're not producing anymore. So that's a little bit of a bummer that one of the figures is in less than stellar shape. Yeah, I can even see up here on this Cobra Trooper that the bubble isn't perfectly fastened up here as well. You know, and again, I know people that sit there and say, well, you should open your toys. Look, man, I agree a lot of times with that. This is not one of those situations. This is made more specifically for adult collectors, and this is really geared towards people who want to keep things pristine in their package. That being said, I do know some people out there that bought this and they plan on opening all of this up. They're going to open their figures. They're going to open the jet. They're going to set it all up because that's what they do. They set up like dioramas. And hey, man, more power to you. I think that's great. I think it's great. Everybody should enjoy their toys the way they want to enjoy them, whether you're an adult or your kid or whatever. Everything is really cool. I did not have quite the same letdown that I saw some of the rest of you out there in internet land have regarding this toy. I know some people, like I said, were a little bit let down with different things about this. And obviously I haven't opened the jet yet. I'm not going to do that here on camera because I just really want to be able to take my time and put it together properly. Later on, if you're interested, let me know. If you want to see what it looks like when it's all assembled and everything, I could probably do like a follow-up video, or maybe I'll post some photos. We do have a group on social media that you can find on Facebook specifically called the Geeking Squad group that's free and open for anybody to join as long as you don't act like a jerk. And I will do follow-up stuff on the Geeking Squad about this whole Skystriker thing. If you're interested in seeing more, just post a comment down below. But otherwise, man, yeah, this is it. This is what I waited months for, and I am pretty satisfied with what I got. I think that some of the HASLAB things that have come out have been hit or miss from what I've been able to see and ascertain myself. I'm not one of those guys that wants to spend like $500 to $1,000 on these things. That's just a little out of my budget. For other people, they feel like that's perfectly reasonable, and that's awesome. I admire their stuff from afar, you know. This was the one I decided to go all in on because I love G.I. Joe. I always wanted the Skystriker jet. That was always something I really wanted, and I was never able to get one. Trying to just get an original Skystriker jet in, you know, mint and box now is going to cost me way more than it cost me to get this set. and I get so much more with it. So yeah, very, very happy with it. If you're interested in this, I'm sure you'll be able to find these on the aftermarket. Look on eBay, look on different collector groups and forums. I don't think you're going to find anybody selling. It's unlikely you're going to find anybody selling this for what Hasbro charged me for it. You're going to end up having to pay a aftermarket collector's premium. But is it worth it? Well, depending on what you're looking to spend and how into this you are and everything, man, yeah, I think this was certainly worth what I paid for it. But overall, they did a great job on this for me. The way they shipped it was good. The way it's packaged inside the packaging. Anyway, with that, thanks for checking this out. If you sat through this whole thing, bravo, because this is probably a lot longer than you wanted it to be. But at least you get an idea of what to expect if you haven't ordered this and you were curious about it. So thank you, everybody. Please like and subscribe and comment. I can't even tell you how much we appreciate that. I'm going to have much, much more Geeking Toyetic content coming out here in 2023. We got all sorts of plans, so come back soon, and thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.